Water. It has always been more than a resource. It sustains healthy ecosystems, supports food and energy production, safeguards health and survival, drives socio-economic development, which forms the foundation of sustainable development. Everyone needs clean water, but for one community, water is not merely a necessity. It is their home, their livelihood, their culture, and their identity. That community is the Orang Asli. Living close to nature, they rely on the water ecosystem for water supply, food source, agriculture activities, and cultural practices. The deep relationship with water reflects both spiritual and practical connections. However, they had also faced some serious related issue. In Malaysia, 3.9% of the people does not have access to clean water, and among this group of people, 8% are the indigenous community, but the population of indigenous people are only 0.8% of Malaysia's total population. Thus, they represent a significant portion of the population facing water crisis. Besides, indigenous community living near fragile water ecosystem often face several environmental issues. Firstly, water contamination and eutrophication caused by mining, logging, and agricultural runoff has degraded the water quality of several water bodies in Malaysia and threatened the health of nearby indigenous communities. Next, ecological degradation happen in several water ecosystems like lakes, rivers, wetlands and estuaries due to deforestation, mining and agriculture harming biodiversity and the livelihoods of indigenous communities dependent on these ecosystems. Disaster, especially floods, affect the socio-economic livelihood of the indigenous communities living nearby whom depend on river-based resources. With all these factors, the indigenous community's food security is threatened due to reducing fish stock, damaging crops and disrupted traditional food source. This leads to the ultimate question: can we harness and turn water into a catalyst that nurture both nature and the indigenous community? This design thesis seeks to propose a water settlement architectural model that demonstrates the integration of water management, ecological regeneration, and social sustainability for indigenous communities. Instead of resisting water, this project proposes living with it, embracing its natural cycles as a resource that sustains ecological resilience, preserves cultural identity, and supports everyday community life. After a series of analysis and comparison, Tasik Chini, Pahang is selected as the project site as it fulfills all of the site selection criteria, which is proximity to water ecosystem, presence of indigenous community, biodiversity, issue of water degradation and flooding. Tasik Chini is Malaysia's second largest natural freshwater lake, which consists of 13 interconnecting water bodies, each with its own characteristics. It is blessed with vast treasures of nature, rich in biological resources. Tasik Chini accommodates over 500 indigenous people of the Jakun tribe, resides in 4 indigenous villages, living in the fringes of the lake. For the indigenous community of Tasik Chini, their culture, livelihood, and traditions remain closely tied to the water landscape. Yet today, this relationship is increasingly challenged, threatening the resilience of both the community and its surrounding ecosystem. Mining activities and deforestation near Tasik Chini have increased sedimentation and polluted the lake, affecting water quality and biodiversity. The disappearance of the iconic lotus fields reflects this ecological decline. Meanwhile, the indigenous community living nearby the lake continues to experience seasonal flooding, which can rise up to 4 meters. The proposed water-based indigenous settlement is inspired by the lifestyle, livelihood, and ecological relationship of the Jakun indigenous community with Tasik Chini, forming an immersive narrative journey that reflects the growth of a settlement from survival to self-sustainability through 7 interconnected themes with related programs. It begins with water as the primary threshold, followed by shelter, community formation, food production, and cultural preservation. It then evolves through ecological restoration, healing the lake before opening to tourism, guided by Indigenous values of coexist and stewardship. These 7 themes are translated into interconnected zones, each containing programs and spaces that support its intended role within the settlement. To create a meaningful sense of place, the contextual characteristics and cultural identity of Tasik Chini and Jakun people are used as inspiration to be translated to design language, generating the related function and architecture form for each zones. Now, let me guide you through an immersive journey of water, culture, and resilience. The first theme, the water threshold, which is the water and ecology zone. It marks the moment of arrival, where water becomes the first storyteller. The pitch roof-styled structure with anyaman facade acts as a welcoming gateway into the water settlement. Moving through calm waterways and fragmented Rasau swamp islands, we will encounter Tasik Chini's layered aquatic ecology, floating vegetation, and shifting horizons. Floating wetlands and ecological treatment systems are introduced as living infrastructures, while interconnected waterways act as transport spines, guiding movement and transitioning visitors from the outside world into a living waterscape. Moving on to the next theme. Between water and homes is the housing cluster for the Indigenous people. The Indigenous housing reinterprets traditional dwelling patterns through sloped and stepped forms that rise gently from the water's edge. Rooted in ancestral living conditions, the architecture adapts to seasonal water fluctuations while incorporating sustainable water purification systems and community farming to provide safe daily water and achieve self-sufficiency, reflecting a resilient way of living in harmony with Tasik Chini's lake environment. The third theme, the water commons, marks the community zone. It forms the social heart of the settlement, where everyday life, interaction, and collective identity unfold upon the water. The Education Center for Orang Asli children provides a supportive learning environment that nurtures cultural identity, basic education, and community-based knowledge. The Rumah Adat, combining the community hall and community kitchen, where community hall are for gatherings and ceremonies such as weddings and communal events. Community kitchen supports shared cooking during communal activities. A floating market supports local trade and exchange, creating a lively waterfront space for daily economic activity and interaction. Next, the fourth theme, water of sustenance, is the agriculture and aquaculture zones. To achieve collective sustainability of a settlement, food production is woven into the landscape through integrated agriculture and aquaculture systems. Floating cultivation techniques respond to fluctuating water levels, allowing crops and fish farming to coexist with the lake's ecology. This zone establishes a food hub for processing, storage, and distribution, reinforcing resilience, self-sufficiency, and food security, while maintaining ecological balance within Tasik Chini's sensitive wetland environment. The fifth theme, the echoes of ancestry, which is the cultural hub. The cultural hub serves as a living space of memory and expression, where Orang Asli Jakun traditions, crafts, rituals, and oral histories are actively practiced and shared. Architecture here acts as a vessel for storytelling, allowing culture to be experienced, renewed, and passed forward as a living heritage rather than preserved as a static display. The open amphitheatre accommodates cultural activities and events, hosting traditional performances such as Tarian Kelundang to welcome the visitors. Gallery and cultural exhibit showcases artifacts, histories, and cultural expressions of the Jakun community. The cultural hub also features a series of traditional skill workshops, including weaving, carpentry, and performance arts. Next, the sixth theme, Healing the Lake, marks the research center. This research center represents knowledge and stewardship, where scientific research and environmental monitoring support the long-term health of Tasik Chini. The integrated lotus cultivation programs aim to revive native lotus species, reinforcing responsible water management and enhancing the wetland biodiversity. Embedded within the landscape, the research center bridges traditional ecological wisdom and modern science, fostering collaboration in conservation and ecological restoration. Lastly, the seventh theme, When the Water Settles, which is the ecotourism zone. Ecotourism emerges as an outward extension of an empowered community and a healed lake system. Only after social cohesion, cultural continuity, and ecological resilience are established does Tasik Chini open itself to visitors. Chalets and ecological trails are designed as light, respectful insertions, allowing outsiders to experience the landscape through indigenous values of care, balance, and coexistence, transforming tourism into an act of learning rather than consumption. For the building services and system, from fire safety and protection, water supply systems, sewerage and waste management, electrical and telecommunication networks, to lighting, ventilation, mechanical systems, and structural systems with appropriate building materials, all components are carefully integrated to respond to fluctuating water conditions, minimize environmental impact, and ensure compliance to local regulations and standards. For this project, the water purification system is reimagined as a living vertical infrastructure that integrates nature, technology, and architecture. The xylem core. The integrated vertical tower functions as a bio-inspired water spine, emulating xylem processes of transpiration and root pressure. Constructed using timber structural frame and others featured building system, the xylem core blends vernacular construction with contemporary environmental technology. It is a multifunctional infrastructure for water purification, vertical circulation, wind capture, and energy generation within a compact architectural element. Firstly, photovoltaic glass installed at the rooftop harvests solar energy. Integrated vertical axis wind turbines within the wind catcher also capture prevailing wind flow to generate renewable electricity. Powered by renewable energy, water is extracted through a submersible pump, then channeled into a biofilter column for natural filtration. The treated water then undergoes reverse osmosis purification to achieve high-quality potable water for safe community use before being stored in a high-altitude water storage funnel. Inspired by traditional wind catcher systems, the timber partition forms a multi-sided wind-catching structure which captures winds from all directions and channels air through hollow bamboo evaporative cooling pads to reduce indoor temperature naturally. Vertical hydroponic systems are integrated within the tower, receiving nutrient-rich water distributed from a central service riser connected to the funnel storage tank. Water levels can rise up to 4 to 5 meters during monsoon flooding in Tasik Chini, threatening the surrounding ecology and nearby Orang Asli housing settlements. So is there any way they can adapt to this kind of environment? Yes. The proposed flood mitigation and adaptation system introduces detachable buoyant housing modules that passively respond to rising water, allowing homes to detach, float safely, and adapt dynamically during extreme flood events while preserving community resilience. During normal state, the modular house remains securely attached to the structure through guide rail and release hooks. The floating base stay inactive beneath the structure, while guide rails provide stability. As the water level rises, buoyant force gradually lifts the house upward. The module begins sliding vertically along guide rails, preventing drifting and maintaining structural alignment. As the buoyant uplift continues increasing and pushes the house to a point where the release hook no longer exerts tension on holding the house, the release hook disengages automatically without sensors or external power. The modular unit then detaches safely from the main structure as utility couplings disconnect simultaneously. After detachment, the modular house transforms into a stable floating dwelling, supported by its plastic barrels floating foundation. The detached pod remains habitable during flooding, ensuring safety, buoyancy and resilience while adapting dynamically to changing water levels and environmental conditions. Now let's look into a practical issue. Where does the waste produced by the community go? And how can it be naturally treated within the landscape? This leads to the living machine. The living machine, developed by ecological designer John Todd in the 1970s, is a biological water treatment system inspired by natural wetland ecosystems. The system uses plants, microorganisms, algae, and aquatic organisms to naturally purify wastewater through ecological processes. Wastewater are first channeled into the living machine via pipe system below the boardwalk. Then it undergoes a multi-stage treatment system that progresses from anaerobic and anoxic reactors to aerobic reactors, a clarifier, and finally a constructed wetland. Each stage is designed to sequentially remove phosphorus, nitrogen, and organic contaminants, producing effluent that meets strict environmental regulations. In conclusion, the WATERSCAPE of resilience presents a transformative design approach where water is not only a natural element, but a catalyst for ecological, cultural, and social continuity. The development is a dynamic and evolving process, shifting through each thematic layer as a progressive journey and reflecting a changing state of relationship between the Jakun community and Tasik Chini, where architecture becomes a medium of adaptation and coexistence. Through years of transformation, the settlement will quietly evolve into a resilient water-based community, becoming a living model for future Indigenous settlement that redefines living with water as a resilient future